What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom side of the map in the blue color, playing as Hades. His name is Kimo. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Set. His name is Yoshii. The map is Painted Desert, I believe. Am I right? I feel like I've watched a couple of Age of Mythology games in my days. We have ourselves Yoshii playing as Set, and we have ourselves Kimo playing as Hades. It's been a hot minute since we've actually watched Kimo playing anything other than Ra. He was grinding the Ra games quite a bit recently. I'm not sure if he was feeling like his Ra was like a little bit not playing as well as it could have, or was he feeling a little bit like off on his other gods. But yeah, he hadn't played a whole bunch of other civs, or at least I didn't see him playing too many different civs. But today he's going to be playing as Hades, and we'll see how things are going to go. Hades versus Set is a very, very difficult matchup for Set, depending on the map. Obviously, the map is going to be a big dictator of what's easy and what's hard for Set to get away with and find victories. The problems here for not just Set, but Egyptian in general against Greek seems to, or at least against Hades in particular, is that Hades is able, for whichever reason, whatever god bonuses you want to talk about, but Hades is able to trade really, really efficiently with his cheaper units, as opposed to what Egyptian needs to do in the kind of mid game, the middle of the game, where things are supposed to kind of go one way or the other, and the Egyptian player finds it really difficult to get going. So I'm interested to see if Yoshi's got any ideas to utilize in this game to find an advantage over the Hades. Personally, I've been having some success and some not success with a lot of different, very unfortunate zebra death over here. But I've been having some success with going elephant. I've been having some success going with spearman. But in the end of the day, you have to be able to find some sort of tangible advantage in the middle of the game here. We're set to win against Hades because Hades is just going to put his foot on the accelerator and never take it off, and basically end the Set's dreams, desires, and all the other things very, very quickly in this game if he manages to get to the late game. So we do see Kimo moving over onto his second hunt. He's picked off all of his zebra. They're all in a nice little position around his base. He's got a relic up on this top right-hand side of the map. This is a beautiful relic for both players to be getting. It effectively makes your villagers, you're not going to lose any villagers to raids, is generally what this relic means. 40% extra HP is a huge amount of extra HP for a villager, and it really helps out. We've also got the Kopesh of Horus on this top side as well for Yoshii if he decides to pick this one up. This one's actually a really big deal in this matchup because there's not really a counter to the Colossus that, or even the Chimera, that Hades can build in the Mythic Age. And that relic is going to give funeral rites, priests, and Pharaoh a much better chance of dealing with all that stuff, as we are seeing Kimo is going to be advancing. He went for a 425 advance, but he actually did go up at 430 there. So he's going for this early hero just to get himself the Pygmalion statue nice and fast. We are seeing the priest of Yoshii over here converting the elephant in the middle of the map. Got to be careful not to lose that because there's a lot of food in that elephant. So we'll see what's going to happen if Kimo sends his Ajax over there to cause some pressure. Meanwhile, Yoshii going up through Dar here. He's starting his box. This is a very expensive utilization of the God Power shifting sands. This God Power, as we do see, the Ajax does come in here as the priest looks like it will be getting picked off. That elephant is not going to be completed there. And now the elephant as well might actually find its... the elephant could actually get taken out here as well if Kimo wanted to, but now Yoshii's up into the second age now. He's got 8 villages on gold, so he is going to be going for a second town center here. A little bit late on that one, but potentially should have put 9 villages or 10 villages on gold to get that one up. He's got plenty of food in the bank here, so we'll see how things are going to go as he's moving his villages up to the top location here to drop that town center. It's got a decent gold mine close to it. Pygmalion statue does come through for Kimo as he gets up through Athena here as well. Now, the question is, what is Kimo going to be doing in the early stages here? Does he just go for the safe, no risk, fast second town center, or does he go for those stables into Athena? Hippocon can be a really, really good way to play against Egyptian here as Greek, but it doesn't look like that's what he's doing. And we'll have to wait and see what's on the horizon here for Kimo as his resources are starting to grow. This is something that I've noticed quite a bit by players who play Greek. The second town center oftentimes comes down much, much later than I would expect from a 4:30 advance time. The players, as we do see the villagers moving up onto this side of the map to grab the town center here, the players who pilot Greek at this moment, I know you can go two town centers, get both your heroes out. I'm fairly sure 416 works, which is one villager less than 430, but I know for certain you can get a 430 second town center being built right at 430 and get both of your heroes out. But we don't see that very often here from Greek players at all, but it could just be that Kimo is wanting to go for 3 town centers here, which is why he's going so late here. But we'll have to wait and see, as Yoshi's already got his second town center up. He's actually happily eating food up on this location. This is not something that you see happen very often as Egyptian here. You don't normally get away with this because the Greek player is normally sending their heroes in to pressure this hunt, and there's not really a good counter for set. But this is a way to deal with it, and it's throwing a barracks down and getting going with the spearman. Going to be controlling the map as best as he can as Kimo gets his second town center. He's over here on this location as well, chucking up his stable archery range as the Chiron going to be moving in onto this position to check out what's going on over here as another barracks going to be coming up. We'll see if Kimo's going to make any reactions to finding that or just continue along with his plan right now as the villagers finishing up on the goats over there. There was an elephant over here that he was converting. He's got this one as well that he can bring back home. We'll have to wait and see if he wants to eat that or not, or if he can just send the villagers forward to eat on this location as Kimo moves forward with his own villagers here. The Chiron is getting caught out at this point, almost gets surrounded there, manages to escape at this point, but Kimo's villagers in the middle of the map not doing a whole lot here as Yoshi's going to get a little bit of damage done onto that location as Kimo is in a lot of trouble here. He's getting his third military building down as well, going to be going for a 1-1-1 here, which means 1 military academy, 1 stable, and 1 archery range is the big shifting sands coming in onto this position. Does Yoshii have an answer for the Minotaur in his base, though? That Minotaur is going to break down these walls very, very fast. Does manage to snipe down the Toxote here as the wall attempts to get rebuilt out. We see the Pharaoh moving over here as fast as he can as the army of Yoshii moving in onto this position, trying to cause some pressure. You do have to remember that Pygmalion statues coming through here as the restoration gets dropped down, and it looks like Yoshii is going to have to bail out on this position. Yoshii not playing around that Pygmalion statue at all here as he is going all out on this position. He does manage to pick off the Minotaur, does manage to pick off the Ajax, does manage to pick off the Hippocon as well. But the pressure is mounting on this position. Will Yoshii be able to come out of this with an advantage or not, as the Wadget's going to be moving in onto this position as well? And we'll see how things are going to go. These elephant here are doing tons of damage as the villagers are slowly getting taken out on this position. This is absolutely huge for Yoshii here, as he picks off nearly every single one of those villagers. They're trying to bail out on this. And even with the Pygmalion statue, with that shifting sands that Yoshii had used here, he's managed to get a huge advantage moving forward in this game, as Kimo will have to retreat back home. And we'll see what Yoshii's going to do to follow this one up, because here's the thing. Kimo here, he's got 3 military buildings here. Chances are he's not really going to be able to produce all too much in onto this position. But Yoshii here, he doesn't necessarily have another port of call to attack anymore. Because Kimo, he's been pushed off the outer hunt. That means Yoshii's going to have the hunt. Kimo's lost a lot of resources, a lot of economy here. So too is Yoshii, but the point here is that I think Yoshii can just stop training units here and kind of just go for a heroic age behind this, or go for a 3rd town center behind this as well. But he does need to be very careful here as the Wadget almost getting sniped down. We do see these spearmen over here need to get back in. We do have a villager kill on this point as an armory going to be coming down over here to try and protect the Wadget as it's retreating away there, and the Chiron is going to be getting pushed back home here. We'll see if these Yoshii spearmen on this point over here are going to be able to deal with them, as the priest's going to be getting a whole bunch of damage onto the Chiron as it retreats back. How's Kimo doing now? He's still producing units here, but they're moving around on the map looking for some raids here. They will be finding 13 villagers on this position, but those villagers here can very easily, and we do see that happening here for Yoshii. He's going to be turning around, starting to shank this one down as Kimo has to retreat back. Will we see Yoshii making any sort of reaction here, or is he going to be in a bit of trouble? As the villagers retreat back, the villagers can come back in and start fighting this one again, as we see some shades coming through as well to help out for Kimo. The spearman coming out on this position now to start chasing down those Toxotes. A little bit of a ghost building getting thrown down here for Yoshii as he manages to prevent those units from retreating away. But that will mean they're in a very, very defensive position over here, as a villager might get sniped down. We see the armory getting deleted here, as another armory coming down on this position as well to finish off the rest of those Toxotes. Meanwhile, on this position over here, looks like Yoshii has controlled it. But the problem is, what is he doing behind this? He needs to continue motoring forward, and he is. Grabbing that third town center means he's going to have a huge amount of economy to push through. He's got this town center under lock and key here. There's more units popping out of the stable, out of the archery range, out of the military academy. We do see the Toxotes hitting that spearman. They do manage to deal with that one there. Nice snipe there, as more villagers moving forward to start trying to hunt these zebra out in the middle of nowhere. The armory doesn't actually get finished over here. Probably wouldn't have been a bad idea there. As the villagers finishing up on this one, the elephant can get sent back home now. Eat that one up, no problems. Get yourself plow, go into a huge amount of farms, and then be able to spend all of that extra favor that you're going to be gathering throughout this classical age on scorpion men, or on scarabs, or on Phoenix, or on Avengers, or on upgrades. Lots of different options here, but Kimo does notice this town center going up. The villagers making a break for it into the corner here, but it looks like Kimo, he's got the knowledge here. He knows those villagers are making a break for it. He has found them, chasing them down. He's going to be able to get a villager kill or two here as the Wadjet comes through to start taking down some of those Toxotes here as well. Good play there from Yoshii. No overcommitment here. He's got lots of gold in the bank here at this point as well. Maybe too much gold here. Does he have that Shadoof up just yet? No, not just yet. One of those things that is kind of difficult to do in the moment, because you're kind of too busy doing a whole bunch of different things. But when you see yourself have a excess of resources in the bank, the best thing to do is to just grab all your villagers off of gold and move them onto a resource that you need. And at this point, it's this elephant here. Yoshii could take all these villagers off of this gold mine, come over onto this elephant, eat that all up, and then return onto the gold mine, and he would be able to equalize his resources out nicely. As we do see the army here coming through for Kimo, he is going for these raids really, really obnoxiously here, as Yoshi's not really dealing with it all too well at this point. He's still dealing with picking off these stables. He's still kind of low on the food here. Sentinel's getting cast in the main base here for Kimo, as the units here having to retreat back for Yoshii, as Yoshi's village is going idle here. But again, this might be a blessing in disguise, because now Yoshii is forced to bring his villagers off of this gold mine like he should have been doing and go into that elephant anyways. So he'll be able to eat all of that food really, really fast. He's got Shadoof now. He's getting plow. The farm's going to be coming down incredibly fast here, so he can spam out more spearmen and more of everything else. But the question is going to be, what is happening here for Kimo, and what is the next thing that Yoshii has to worry about? He's found himself an advantage, but he needs to capitalize on this advantage to some degree here. As Yoshii, he's going to be garrisoning his villages back into here, going over onto the large gold mine. Needs more farms. Plenty of villagers on gold now. Does he have himself the... he doesn't have pickaxe. He doesn't have shaft mine. Those are the two upgrades you really need to be getting if you can help it. As the army over here getting chased down, they're going to have to make a break for it through this location here. There's another sort of gap over here that they can go through as well, as the villagers do manage to cause this problem. The armory being used as a very, very annoying tool here from Yoshii's arsenal is really, really nice. It costs no resources. It does take a long time to build, so the actual HP you get on it takes a really long time. So if you just kind of right click early enough onto the ghost building, you're going to be able to pick it off nearly instantly. But it's really, really nice play from Yoshii using that in this game, as we do see Yoshii being incredibly greedy with these villagers. He brought the elephant over here, and his villagers are getting caught out Yet again, we will be seeing him making some sort of an attempt to retreat out as we are making some spearmen, or not spearmen, slingers here. Yoshi's making some slingers as Kimo moving around onto this position, going to be grabbing this gold mine here. This is a big weakness in Kimo's position right now, is the gold mines. If Yoshii had went kind of full send in the classical age, went full population spearmen slingers here, he may have been able to push in onto this gold mine and then also push in onto this gold mine to boot as well, keeping Kimo on the back foot. But right now, it's spearmen versus hoplites, and the spearmen just aren't that good against hoplites. We might need to see an attempt at building some axemen here in this game. But good micro here from Yoshii, sniping down those Toxotes from afar with his slingers. Makes it really tough to build Toxotes here. If you can micro those slingers well enough here, from the Egyptian side of things, you're going to be able to carry yourself through in these games. But it looks like Yoshii here not able to hold on at that point. Now he's pumping out some more units, but he needs more barracks to get thrown down here. A watchtower coming down on this position to try and hold on to it, as well as the priest coming in to give a big amount of healing support here as the army coming forward for Kimo here. The Slinger's trying to get onto those Toxotes. He has microed it nicely thus far as the Toxotes do retreat back. Good micro here yet again from Yoshii. He still needs to bring his Slingers closer and closer to those hoplites, and once the Slingers get into the hoplite range, then those Slingers get picked off so absurdly fast here. So not able to quite make that work. He does manage to get himself up to 4-5 barracks here to start defending himself, but Yoshi's now got the resources to advance to the heroic. He clicks segment. He's not going to have himself funeral rites here. He's not going to have himself ancestors. He will have the scarabs to make a big push in this game, but is that going to be enough here? This one seems like a little bit of a mistake, if you ask me. I feel like the ancestors is a really vital key to the set success in this matchup. But Kimo has found himself having a huge advantage after managing to push through those unupgraded slingers. The spearmen as well not being that useful, meaning he needs to build himself some axemen here, which are also unupgraded. And Kimo has managed to make a decent army switch, tech switch from away from the 1-1-1 into a hoplite Toxote ball, which is very tough for Yoshii to deal with. But he's currently getting more and more units built out here. We've got some units moving over into the main base of Yoshii, but he's still fine in this position. He's going to be moving in onto this gold mine here. He's got himself a lot of favor and gold in the bank, so he will be able to shoot up a hill fort, or not a hill fort, a Migdol stronghold incredibly fast on this position as the units pop out and Kimo has to retreat back. Yoshii casts himself the Citadel Center here to get himself the extra 10 population, the extra survivability, and the extra damage in his main base. But the extra 10 population isn't going to be that big of a difference. Once he gets fortified town centers, he's going to go up to 170 population, which is going to be huge. Do we see any attempt at scarabs? No scarabs, but a second monument has been dropped as the scarabs can start moving across the map, getting some damage done, and the chariot archers will start coming through here to help deal with those medium hoplites. We'll see how it's all going to go. It's a market getting dropped down here. We'll see if Yoshi is going to go for the Horus or the Thoth option here. If you go Thoth, obviously you have to be able to transition into elephants here, which can take quite a while, but there's lots of favor in the bank. So getting early Valley of the Kings out, plus an extra Migdol stronghold to spam out the elephants wouldn't go astray here. Alternatively, obviously, Horus, with the idea of dropping a tornado on a town center and getting even more of an advantage in this game, might be the way to go. Also being able to get access to those really strong classical unit technologies, as Kimo does go up through Apollo here. He's going to be retreating back home, but look at Kimo's economy here. It's fully popped. He's got all of his economy out. He really hasn't been, but aside from the early game, Kimo's economy has not really been touched in this game, which is a big thing here, because because Yoshi's economy's been hit so brutally in this game. Yes, he had all the early game advantage, but it's kind of been turned on its side here. And I feel like, economically speaking, both players in this game are really close to each other. Market's coming up now for Yoshi, who's going to start trying to build himself some trade here as the Scarab moving over onto this town center. There is no restoration left. There is no fortified town centers here. So a tornado will be able to pick off a town center, but the question is, do you actually want to be going for that town center or not? As a handful of units coming over onto that gold at this point is going to be a difficult thing to deal with. Town center is getting taken. This Scarab might be able to sneak the town center down here without Kimo noticing, as Kimo's now moving into the center of the map with some more military buildings here as the army coming through onto this position. The Axemen doing their best to try and take out those Axemen here. Sorry, this hoplite here. But at this point, looks like Yoshii no longer focusing on microing those slingers. They end up becoming really, really bad, as we do see him managing to micro just a little bit here to snipe one Toxote. But whenever your slingers are attacking anything not named an archer, they may as well not be there. They don't do much at all, as we do see a vision coming through here for Yoshii, as he's going to be clicking the tornado onto this town center to finish it off. He doesn't really want to be using it on the main town center and risking fortified town centers, Masons coming through and the town center surviving. But he manages to take that one down, and now Yoshii has got himself a small timing here that he can utilize to find an advantage. As the Manticore coming through, though, now for Kimo to help out on this position here. We'll see if Yoshii's going to be able to take that one out. It can be really, really tough to take out that Manticore as Egyptian, because the Pharaoh and the Priest, they get sniped down by the Toxotes, and the Manticore is just going to keep on dealing damage to everything else. But look at this here from Yoshii. He saved the favor. What did he save the favor for? Rhinoceros is set. We haven't seen Feral coming out just yet, though, from Yoshii. So maybe he's not going to go mass Rhinoceros set, but it's a really, really strong way to find an advantage in like kind of the early stages of the game, before the Mythic Age heroes come out, before, if there's no Chiron out, if there's no Achilles out, or then the Rhinoceros set do so much damage. So it's a nice idea here as these units coming through. The town center for Kimo has to be coming back up here, though, and it looks like it will come up, and Kimo looks like he's managed to hold on here for the time being. As these units kind of stuck in this little gap over here, as Yoshii needs to fix that one up fairly soon. As finally it seems like the Manticore about to fall down, as Yoshii trying to push through on this location. And I think the most important part of the map for Yoshii to secure is this gold mine here. This gold mine here means that Kimo needs to be making a trade route here, and he is starting it. But if you secure this gold mine, this one means you can then push in and try and take out the gold mine while that trade route is kind of struggling, as the Avenger does move over and hit these villages. But you do also have to remember the villagers here. They've got themselves 91 total HP, which means it takes a while to take them out now. Instead of normally where an Avenger will probably be able to like 2 or 3 shot the villager, now it's going to take 4 or 5 shots to take that villager out. As the Achilles coming through does get sniped down very, very fast here by the Chariot Archers. Nice play by Yoshii to be fully in control of that. But as his Avenger is running away, he's not actually able to hit that one with the Chariot Archers, because the Achilles is moving at 5.5 speed. As the army's still pushing through. We now got the Heavy Hippocon coming out to try and deal with those Chariot Archers. War Elephants coming through for Yoshii as well. But I don't know if this is going to be it, as Yoshii needs to retreat back home here. We'll see how things are going to be going. He's getting the trade route started. Just one market building that trade route. He's going to be running out of gold over here relatively fast. He does have the gold mines over here. A little bit of gold left in his main base, as well as a gold mine over here. So plenty of gold left on the map here for Yoshii. But what else is going to be happening here is the big question, as the Avengers here drag themselves over to this gold mine, see nothing over there, going to have to retreat back and actually do something else in this game. But it looks to me like Kimo, he has managed to stabilize in this game. He's got plenty of resources in the bank. He's got the upgrades here for him as well. He doesn't have that many decent armory upgrades. With all those resources in the bank, he probably could have sorted that out. But his Toxotes, they're doing 9.1 damage a second compared to those heavy chariots doing 11.05 damage per second. Still really, really close in that damage output. Plus the Hades Shades coming through and holding the front really, really nicely means that it's going to be really tough here from this moment on for Yoshii to make any ground in this game, fighting head on with the Hades. And this is exactly what Kimo is going to be wanting here, but what else can Yoshii really do here in this position apart from kind of just hope and pray that he manages to make it work on a kind of side build. He is trying to build siege works over on this location. We see Artemis has been clicked up now for Kimo. Plenty of resources remaining, pushing back and forth, still holding on these positions. But Yoshii here, he's got decent resources in the bank actually, but he needs to be getting armory upgrades. He does have actually decent armory upgrades. So if he can get himself fully upgraded, he might have a shot here. He's also getting himself the elephant upgrade. There it is. Heavy elephants coming through. You have to remember, while it only says plus 15% HP for the war elephant has got 495 HP. So that plus 15% is equal to like 75-ish 75-ish extra HP an elephant, which is absolutely huge. When you compare it to like a Toxote getting medium archers, that's 6 extra HP. So, and you get the heavy Toxotes, that's another 6 HP. Big difference here now for these heavy elephants to come through and tank a ton of resource, a ton of HP here. As the wall's getting broken down here, and Yoshii's going to start trying to push through onto this fortress over here, but it looks like he's not quite able to make it work. He's got 62 favor in the bank and not really the production here. This is the time. This is the timing, which I think is really helpful for Set, which makes Set's kind of late game and esque kind of stuff is kind of something you have to really be onto. Is the timings when you want to be spamming out the Rhinoceros of Set. You have to look here and look 6 seconds to build a Rhinoceros of Set, so you can spend that 60 favor in 1 minute from a Pharaoh and make yourself 10 Rhinos. Obviously, Rhinos against heroes is really bad, but if there's no heroes out there, which there aren't at this point, you can spam them out and have a really good time. But now Artemis has come through, villagers coming onto this gold mines. We're now going to see Yoshii going for a little bit of spearman raids over here, but Kimo's hit the mythic age. Taking a look at his economy right now, it's pretty strong here. He's finished up on gold mines pretty much everywhere, so he's onto this gold mine, and Yoshii has to know that if he puts pressure over here, he's going to have a good time of it. The other thing is that Yoshii can also start getting himself those Horus spearman upgrades, which he has invested in Spear on the Horizon, hasn't got himself graded to the 50 just yet, and it doesn't look like he's gotten himself the other spearman upgrade. Is it leathered shield or something? Leather frame shield. He hasn't got that upgrade just yet, so missing out on a little bit of those unique technologies, but he is causing a lot of damage here onto the Hades economy. But will it matter or not? The thing is that Kimo didn't go through the stock standard Hephaestus here. He's gone for Artemis. So while the Toxotes, technically, if he can get himself out all the upgrades, are going to be stronger for the late game, his economy is going to be much weaker here. So this will allow a Horus set to kind of compete economically in the late game. So we'll see how things are going to go, but more villagers getting taken down as a watchtower going down. But it does look like the trade route here for Kimo, it's actually not as big as you might think. So this is actually hurting Kimo quite a lot as all the villagers getting pushed off of this gold mine here. And we do see a cheeky underworld coming through for Kimo, though. This is where things start getting very scary here for Yoshii. He's out of position. He doesn't have shifting sands. His units here are very slow. Earthquake coming down onto this position, and Kimo has said, let's get going. But it looks like he lost a lot of villagers while he pushed out. Look at those 6 dead villagers he killed himself as the town center getting dropped onto this position here. Villagers going to be having to retreat away from this position as the spearmen on this position here are a little bit out of sorts here as well. Lots of villager kills. Mercenary coming through here to try and deal with this as the champion Toxotes coming through, but I don't think that I don't think that Yoshii can get back in time. Where is his army, and does he actually have anything on this position to help out is the big question. The answer, I think, is no, as his army is 2.9 speed. This is the weakness of the elephant. It is so absurdly slow here, and it looks to me like Kimo may be able to get this town center up here in this game. It wouldn't be a bad idea to send a few more villagers through into this underworld to start grabbing this town center, but he's not actually able to do it here. As the mercenary cavalry coming over to check what's happening, the spearmen coming in on this location as well, as the army stampeding, as it were, onto this position here. It looks like the Spearman will be able to hold over here. But while that's going on, I'm sure the Kimo is going to be able to try and push forward as well. Not only that, he's still going to be getting more and more of these donkey caravans. Remember, he's not able to mine gold at this point because Yoshii has secured the entirety of the map as more villagers coming through onto this position to try and get himself up this town center as best as he can. Will Yoshii be able to make it work here? His units need to move through here as the Petropolis coming in, going to actually take down this mining camp. Funnily enough, this gold mine here could actually start getting mined if Kimo is really desperate for gold. But at this point, it looks like he's not really... Well, he does have no gold in the bank at the moment, but he's not really losing units all too fast. As the elephant coming through here now, we just see one going to be attempting to stop this settlement here as champion. Elephant's going to be coming in. The war elephant's going to be taking out these Toxotes fairly fast here, as well as a catapult coming through to try and take out the underworld passage. But while this is all going on, this is giving Kimo all the time in the world to kind of just get sorted in this game. He's going to be more than happy with losing this position after, say, 2-3 minutes. Going to allow him to get his trade route in, means he doesn't need gold anymore, and he can start dictating the game incredibly easily moving forward in this game. But the question is going to be, can he actually even kill this underworld passage here? At this point, that catapult is not attacking the right stuff here, and you also have to remember, Yoshii's got nothing on this position here to help him produce units. It's not, while it's in his base, he technically doesn't have defender's advantage. This underworld is helping Kimo reinforce immediately, and Yoshii's got nothing left. Not only that, Yoshii's trade route is basically kaput here. He's got 9 camel caravans, but they're right next to that market. I mean, if he builds a market over here, which he has done, they might not be that bad, but Yoshii is in for some trouble. He does have the Citadel, so it's only actually down a grand total of 10 population compared to what Kimo's at the moment, but it's still going to be very, very tough here for Yoshii to fight his way back in. I'm not sure what else he's trying to do here. Is he sending more units in, and his army is just not able to survive against the Kimo army. Kimo's now moving into like nearly full iron or full bronze here. Yoshii does have iron shields, but it only does so much as the villagers coming back onto this position. Chariot archers trying to move their way into here as well, but the villagers here, remember, they do have that Pygmalion statue. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Pygmalion statue here, so they take even longer to pick off, and the town center does end up coming up. Now Kimo's got the underworld in the back of Yoshii's base. He's got 4 town center lead here, and he's got all the advantages moving forward in this game. And what else can Yoshii do here? He has to put pressure onto a different location. I think, funnily enough, it probably would have been a better idea for Yoshii to just send his elephant and his army just straight forward to try and take out Kimo's town center here, and just allow Kimo in onto this town center as a trade option or something. Maybe try and kill off the underworld that was over here as a completely different way of going about defending this. But Kimo has got a full control of this game at this point. And what can Yoshii do? What can Yoshii do here? He's got no gold in the bank. Well, he's got 600 gold in the bank. But he's got no population right now. He's not spending his resources. He's got no population remaining. He's got a little bit of resources left. So he just has to figure out what units, what kind of composition to train here. I do think that an option here is also, it's still an option. It's never not an option, but he's got 62 favor. So free animals are set, technically. Not resource costing animals to set, always go a long way. And we do actually see them starting to get built out of the Pharaoh here. But Kimo is like, I'm going to check out a different location to attack here. I'm not sure where he's going with his army, but he might go straight after this town center here. He's got a fair amount of Hippocon. He can take out all the villagers underneath this town center as well. Yoshii's farms are getting stolen on that Ford town center from Kimo as well, as we do see an attempt to try and take down the underworld passage, but it looks like the catapults here that are rolling through are going to get taken down very, very fast here. A whole bunch of slingers coming out to try and deal with those champion Toxotes. We'll see how that's going to go. The slingers, they do get... I could be wrong about this, but I think they get range if you get their upgrades. That was a point at some point. No, they don't get more range. Okay, so they just start at 16 range. So they are able to kind of deal with those Toxotes decently well here. You do have to micro it, and they are sort of unupgraded as well. But we are seeing the underworld passage might get taken out here As the catapult's going down, though, they're continuously going down. The villagers on this underworld passage getting picked off fairly quickly as well. More elephants coming through. The catapult on this position gets one shot off, but it's not going to be enough to finish that underworld passage off here. Meanwhile, on this position, not really a whole lot going on over there. More buildings coming down for Kimo. He's just going to realize he either needs to send more stuff in to defend this underworld passage or just shift the training facilities closer, and he does have a couple of villages to make that happen over here, so he's going to attempt to do that as best as he possibly can here. As the village is getting taken out, Rhinoceros set coming through here to do as much as he possibly can as well. As the underworld passage still standing very, very strong here. Kimo 179 population, Yoshii 124 population here, still not able to get up to that 150 as the underworld is getting closer and closer to falling here. Is this going to be enough to help Yoshii back into this game? He's got the champion spearmen, champion elephants against this cavalry Toxote army, so he does have kind of the best counters he possibly can to deal with this army, but it's just so absurdly strong here as the Avengers do pop out and they're getting some good damage done on this position over here, as there's no heroes right now. But look at this, you get a whole bunch of, even if he picks off all this army, you just have to then deal with all the Hades shades, which they get stronger and stronger and stronger as the game goes on, because they get hit with those armory upgrades as well, which is absolutely huge. As this town center now starting to get taken down as the military buildings are up for Kimo, sitting at 172 of 180 population. Units in the middle of the map not doing a whole lot as the villagers sneaking back onto this gold mine here to try and gather that one up. This is vitally important for Yoshii. Yoshii's survival in this game to continue building, mining gold, and he's only got a little bit of time left, so he's got 12,000 gold left on the map roughly with those two gold mines, but he's still trying to push forward. We've got a fortress coming through here as this Heliopolis trying to take down the houses over here, causing some more problems for Yoshii here as Yoshii gets his houses back up. He's back up to full population here, but Kimo is at 180. He's just got a whole bunch of idle hoplites over here. I'm not sure exactly what he's waiting for there, apart from the fact that maybe he's just kind of a little bit overwhelmed with everything that's going on and he's kind of just forgotten about them. As the Pharaoh trying to stay alive here, getting some good damage done from afar, but still no more favor spend at this point here for Yoshii as he's getting himself up some more monuments. He did lose his monument to the villagers there, so wanted that one back up. As the army now moving forward for Kimo, taking everything out in the middle of the game. In the middle of the map. As the catapult now starting to move forward. Let's see how he's going to go with cleaning up the rest of this, but there's still a long way to go here. As the Hoplite army, they do spot some champion chariots. They're going to try and take that one down. Lots of military buildings coming through here for Kimo on the back here. He's got 9, 10, 11, 12. Whole bunch here. So we'll see if he can hold on to this town center, or if he needs to make a push elsewhere. It wouldn't be a bad idea, as we do see Yoshii decides, yeah, that's time to give up. He is sitting at 150 population. He's not really lost in this game. I do think at this point he was about to take this town center down, but I think that he is just like, well, if he cleans this up, he's gonna, by the time I clean his base up over here, Kimo's going to be able to push in onto this side and be able to secure this town center as well. But I do think that he probably would have been able to push through here and get this town center back. He's got no real resources in the bank, but he's at full population. Kimo, on the other hand, he's not really full upgrades. Look at those archers, those shards of plague, sunray, and bronze weapons. He's just missing iron weapons here. And these Toxotes are doing 12.3 damage. 12.3 damage compared to the chariot archer, which is 11.9 damage. And I guess Yoshii doesn't have himself bronze weapons or iron weapons either, but it's basically equal damage for one population less, which is absolutely huge in the late game. But GG, well played by Kimo. Huge hold there. That early game from Yoshii was absolutely devastating, but he just couldn't quite convert and hold on to all of the different kind of weaknesses in his position. I feel like if he just sent the villagers back home, like ate what he could, and then when he was ready to move on to the elephants, just sent them back home and ate the elephants and go like Mythic Age, he probably would have been able to win this game really easily. I think if he just was able to secure one of these side gold mines with his map control as well, he probably would have had a good opportunity as well to win here, but he just wasn't able to quite make it work. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.